Can't see how long the timer says. Wait 3 minutes. Now moving closer. Okay, next to the timer. Okay, perfect. We're just going to continue. I'm going to discuss, I think it's probably the most common shayla in the kitchen. I know that sounds like an extreme statement. Never should say that, because then everyone has to prove to you that it's not the most common shayla in the kitchen. But it's called pariv noodles. How many times do we take noodles out of the fridge, and we want to take those noodles, and we want to put cheese on the noodles, and then we say, wait, those noodles were made for Shabbos, and therefore they were made in the fleishiga pot, and am I allowed to put cheese on the fleishig equipment noodles? So this is actually the concept of not bar not. It sounds very, very scary when you say it that way, but hopefully in 3 minutes or less we're going to try to boil this down to make it very, very simple. The first thing you have to realize is that once something is pariv, for example, these noodles, at the end of the day, if you put cheese on it, it's going to be mutter. You can't make something asur if it starts off pariv. That's number one, unless there were some evil onions that somehow got mixed in. So whatever we're talking about, forget the onions. Okay, that's number one. But now let's go in order. It all depends on when was the pot that made the noodles used last. As we explained the other night, is it a ben yomer or not a ben yomer? Was the pot used within the previous 24 hours for meat, or was it not used in the previous 24 hours for meat? So we'll start with the more common case. The more common case is the noodles were made in a pot. They are made for a dinner, they were made for a supper, they were made in a fleishig pot. When was the pot used last? We have no clue. Used last for meat. Used last for meat. It was used for the noodles. When was it used last for meat? Usually the answer is, I don't know. So those noodles are real pariv. Once those noodles are in your fridge, you're allowed to go and put cheese on them. Even though the pot they were made in was a fleishig pot. But because the pot was not used within 24 hours, that's real pariv, we're going to call it, and you're allowed to put cheese in it. However, you're not allowed to go and make noodles in the fleishig pot that was not used within the last 24 hours with the mindset to put cheese on it. But once the noodles were made in the pot that was not used within the last 24 hours, you're allowed to go and put cheese on it. Everything we're saying today is for Ashkenazim. I'm sorry for the Sephardim amongst us, but they're even more making in this regard. But if the pot was used within the last 24 hours, then the rules change. If the pot was used in the last 24 hours, then these noodles are pariv. And if you messed up and you put the cheese on it and don't throw out the noodles, it's mutter. But before you put the cheese on it, since the pot was used in the last 24 hours, what does that mean? That means the meat that was used in the pot is absorbed in the wall of the pot. It spit it back into the noodles. That's called a not bar not noisim tam. It went into the pot. Noisim tam, it shot back into the noodles. Lechatchila, we never take a not bar not and put cheese on it. So if you go into your fridge and you see noodles, you have to ask yourself one question. Where were those noodles made? Milchig pot, check, do whatever you want. Pariv pot, check, do whatever you want. Fleishig pot, when was it used last? I don't know, check, do whatever you want. Fleishig pot that was used within the last 24 hours for meat, lechatchila, we do not put cheese on it. If the cheese was already put on it, then it is mutter. So hopefully anytime you have your pariv noodles, we did not say you can make the noodles, but once they are made, if the pot was not used in 24 hours, you put cheese on it. If the pot was used in 24 hours, you don't put cheese on it. If you put cheese on it, the noodles are mutter. Let's stop there.